Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online VGC 17 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. Just jumping back into things still with the Snorlax Pheromosa team. Obviously, like I said, I'm going to use it for a little bit longer, but it is a super fun team, and hopefully you guys have been enjoying it. I know I haven't been, like I mentioned in yesterday's episode, I've missed uploads here and there, and I'm sorry I haven't been able to bring any additional content in a while, but I will try to work on that, especially over this weekend. But we're going to get this episode kicked off right away with a Japanese opponent in the 1600s, rocking a team of Garchomp, Gyarados, Koko, Celesteela, Mimikyu, and Gigalith. Part of me wonders if that's actually Conan Thompson, because that is the 6 Pokemon that he used against me in the finals of the Oregon Regional Championships, and I know it's the most recent team that he's been using, so yeah, it's a really strong team. Some of the components include Mentor, Mimikyu, Curse, Figiberry, Gigalith, Fly'em Z, Bounce Gyarados, AV Koko, Celesteela with Automize and Flamethrower, and then normal, like, Grandium Z Garchomp. But don't know if that's the exact same team. Conan is one of the top players in the country and the world. And as I mentioned, I played him in the finals of Oregon Regionals. I actually haven't done a VOD review of that, so I probably am going to try to get that uploaded over this weekend, since I did do it for the other ones. But let's see what I should lead with here. I mean, Trick Room is definitely a problem, I suppose. But I can lead, like, Persian Arcanine. The only issue is that gets intimidated. Part of me wants to go Pheromosa, because I can just Poison Z, knock out Koko. Maybe Pheromosa, Arcanine. Gigalith's definitely a problem here in general. But Persian can foul play and fake out, and if he curses, he does more damage, and I'll go Snorlax. Yeah, Ninetales not that solid here. Feeny, I guess Feeny can, like, be in front of the Gigalith. I'm not the biggest fan of the matchup, but we'll see how this goes. As always, if you guys enjoy Road to Rank, please share your support by leaving a like in the video. I'd really appreciate it. I might have said that already. Sometimes I forget, sorry. But let's see what my opponent brings. Don't think this is Conan, but don't recognize his in-game name because he normally uses a Japanese name. Okay, so we see the Trick Room option of Mimikyu Gigalith here. Which is obviously kind of bad because I'm quite weak to... I mean, so here's the thing. Like, I could just high jump kick Gigalith and Flare Blitz Mimikyu. So... immediately we have the question of, does Gigalith protect, or, like, do we see protect Trick Room? Because I could also just Poison Jab Flare Blitz with Choice Band. That probably knocks out Mimikyu. Yeah, I think I'm going to double up into Mimikyu here with a Poison Jab and a Flare Blitz. So Pheromosa should be able to just break the Disguise and Flare Blitz. Hopefully should knock out Mimikyu with Choice Band on Arcanine. But Mimikyu could easily switch out here into something like Gyarados, and Gigalith could Rock Slide. Maybe I should have considered that option, actually I didn't. So I'd love to see Protect Trick Room here. He does switch out though. Gyarados? Oh, it's Garchomp, okay. Does Gigalith Protect? Okay, so at least Gigalith protects, so I can still threaten High Jump Kick next turn. And I just get a lot of free damage here onto the Garchomp. Like, Jab plus Flare Blitz, I would think. Maybe actually will bring it under 50%. Rough Skin comes out, so breaking a potential Sash, but Sandstorm would have already accomplished that. And Choice Band Flare Blitz comes out. Good switch from my opponent. Yeah, I think another Flare Blitz actually could just knock out Garchomp. So my opponent probably has to know I'm banded now. So I take Life, or not Life Orb, Recoil, and then Rough Skin, and then Sandstorm. So even though my opponent didn't attack this turn, I still ended up taking a fair amount of damage. Okay, now this next turn is tricky. I think my best course of action is to... I could bring in Snorlax now. I know Gigalith protected, so I could obviously high jump kick that slot this turn, but I could just high jump kick Garchomp. Alternatively, I think it might be a safer play to just protect and bring in Persian. Yeah, because then Persian can just foul play, knock out Garchomp, and then high jump kick can target down the Gigalith slot. And with Choice Band, maybe Garchomp's in Extreme Speed KO range now from Arcanine? I don't know. But no switch out. Oh, we could see the Rockium Z, though. Okay, that's got to be Scarf Chomp if it's going for Iron Head. So, that's actually really good to know. This Persian takes that decently well. Yeah, there's no way there's no way a non-Scarf Chomp would have Iron Head. So, given that, I can foul play safely into like Garchomp slot, which I think I will do. I mean, like, I could just fake out Garchomp and high jump kick here, so I think Garchomp's actually going to want to switch out. But I would switch back out into Mimikyu. Yeah. So I could, like, make a really aggressive read here and double up into the Mimikyu slot. Oh, no, that's not what I meant to do. I don't like this play. I don't like this play, but I ran out of time. Okay, Garchomp does switch out. Hopefully Gigalith protects. There's Mimikyu. If you make that play, Gigalith's really gotta protect. Okay, nice. So, I mean, that was like the most obvious play from my opponent, but I still felt like maybe I had a safer option. But either way, I'm gonna be able to break this sub and get a foul play off. And I get a poison, which is nice, because that's residual damage that adds up as well. So, good turn. But let's see. Foul play here should actually do a decent amount to Mimikyu too, since it is more physically based. Wow! I was certainly not anticipating that much damage. That's really good for me. Especially because I know that's a Scarf Chomp in the back, so like that really can't touch my Snorlax at all. So that's also good. Yeah, so now I can finally just go for a safe high jump kick into Gigalith and a foul play into Mimikyu. You would think if there's Gyarados, Gyarados would have switched in turn 1. So I'm guessing my opponent didn't bring Gyarados, especially with the threat of Ninetales. Ooh, we see Shap. Is that going to knock me out? Oh, please don't miss. Oh, thank gosh. That was a crit. Nice. Yeah, I was like, there's no way. I thought that was actually like the normal amount of damage. So that crit's kind of annoying because without that crit, I just like snowball with Pheromosa, and I have a +1 still with the Z move as well. But I mean, I'll take that turn. I get the double knockout, and I get to bring in Arcanine back in for Intimidate, and Persian now can just knock out. Oh, but I wonder if there's Coco in the back. Let's see. There was Coco, Gyarados. I played against this team in the finals. I should know. Coco, Gyarados. I'm liking out. Celesteela. Steela wouldn't be a problem. I think I'm going to bring in Snorlax because I can't protect. Yeah. That's definitely better. And Facade should put Garchomp in E-Speed range if it's not already. Okay, so the last one is Coco. But that means my opponent can't Earthquake himself. So here you just Dazzling Gleam and maybe Rock Slide. But that should be okay with me. Yeah, Snorlax should be able to win this one by itself. Yeah, so you definitely have to Gleam with Coco. Oh, but if it's Conan's Coco, it might not even have Gleam. Yeah. I know it's Scarf Chomp, and Snorlax wins the 1v1 against Coco. I'm just gonna Facade Chomp. Yeah, I'm gonna double up into that slot. Okay, Iron Head, probably fishing for a flinch at this point. And Discharge. I might survive this with Persian. I don't know. No. Brings me under 50. Oh, this is going to be tight. Please no flinch. No flinch. Nice, okay. Doesn't knock him out, but that's fine. I know Sandstorm subsides. Okay. So I bring in Arcanine now. Actually, I should have Facaded Coco. That was a bad play. Yeah. So I know Garchomp's locked into Iron Head. Yeah, okay. I should have targeted Coco. That was bad, because it looks like it is Conan's team. I might have thrown this one. I mean, it's still not the worst. Although I really wish Pheromosa didn't get crit. That would have ultimately just sealed the game instantly for me, but you can't think about that right now. Okay, I'm going to stockpile, I think. And E-Speed. Yeah. I also could have facaded and extreme speeded the Coco. But I didn't want to get flinched, because then my opponent has 2 Pokemon against mine. Oh boy. I mean, wait, that actually increases Facade's power, so that's good, but please let me get the stockpile off. Okay, thank you. I guess I could still get fully paralyzed at any point, though. Facade might just be able to knock out Coco, but I played this endgame poorly. The crit kind of threw me off guard. Oh, I should not Facade, I should Recycle, yeah. I need to stall out Terrain right now. Yep, going for another discharge. Please no full para. Thank you. Full para actually could have lost me the game there. Which is why I wasn't too content about how I played the late game, because the Facade plus Bandit E-Speed should knock out that Coco, and I mean, I am assuming it to be Conan's Coco, but like that's a relatively safe assumption. I'm just gonna keep recycling, because Terrain's gonna wear out eventually, and that benefits me. Yeah, he's just discharging. Nice. And even if I got fully paralyzed there, it's fine. But yeah, I'm still kind of mad at myself, because I'm assuming this is... Did Conan's Coco have discharge? I don't remember that. I think that's the last return terrain? Yeah. So I'm gonna recycle again, and then I can stockpile next turn, and then finally Facade. Yeah, so basically Snorlax is in a point where I just want to make sure, even with some paralysis like that, that I'm still in an okay position, because electricity finally disappears. So as long as I don't get like full para 3 turns in a row, I should be fine, but you never know. Coco's just discharged. I wonder if it specs Coco. Okay, no full para. This is scary, but just kind of long and drawn out at this point. If I had Return would have knocked out Garchomp over Facade. I mean, Facade, I guess, helps me more right now. It might just one-shot Coco, but I'm not sure. I guess there's not even any point in... Yeah, I might as well just Facade this turn. Recycling might have been more optimal. Actually, yeah, I think Recycling would have been better. But if, like, Conan's Coco was Assault Vest with Nature's Madness. So I'm wondering if this Coco is that variant. Because Discharge is still doing a decent amount even at my stockpile, even with my stockpile. And I think maybe Facade can... I mean, this Snorlax doesn't have very much attack investments. I don't know if he can knock out Coco in one shot, but... Yeah, I definitely like my position. It's just that I could have been better. And I wasn't sure what Garchomp was going to lock itself into either. That was my other fear. I thought it would maybe go for a Rock Slide. But my opponent taking extra long to think about this turn. Okay, it's just a discharge again. Yeah. Nice. Facade comes out. Almost picks up the knockout, but another one will finish the deal. No point in going for any recycles or stockpiles at this point. Just need to hope I don't get fully paralyzed in the next 2 or 3 turns. And, you know, you never know about that. I really don't like the full paralysis, like 25% chance. It's one of the changes I wanted to see, but I guess it makes Pokemon a little bit more interesting. But it is always really scary. But yeah, reflecting on this game, I'm pretty happy about how I played overall. I feel like I made pretty much all the right calls in the beginning of the game, although I didn't expect the Garchomp to switch in, and if a Gyarados was in this game, that could have been bad too. So turn 1 was really scary, but it worked out okay. Turn 2 was nice, and then Persian was in a good position. But basically, the one turn that I really messed up on, I would say, was choosing the Facade Garchomp instead of Coco. But that's because I didn't really know Coco's item, and I was like, oh, if this is a variant of Conan's team, then it's not going to have, then maybe it has Protect. Yeah, nice. And a Facade will finish up the deal, so Coco will faint, and we will pick up the win here. But pretty much, yeah, I think, like, I put on a lot of pressure with Pheromosa, but that's why Pheromosa is a really scary Pokemon to use in this format, because it feels like there are a lot of kind of, like, 50-50s where, like, yeah, it's so obvious I should protect here to avoid getting high jump kicked, but if your opponent just, like, makes an incredible read and goes for an attack, then Pheromosa just gets knocked out, which is why it's definitely super volatile to use. But fortunately, it performed a lot in that last game, putting on a lot of pressure. And I think Persian demonstrated how good foul play is, because it did, like, over 50% to that Mimikyu, and it basically forced Mimikyu to get knocked out or stay in. But that Shadow Sneak almost knocked me out, and that was really scary. And I don't think Conan had Shadow Sneak, so it is a modified version, and I think that was Specs Coco based off how much damage Discharge was doing, because it was still chucking me for a good amount even after Electric Terrain and at me at +1 special defense. But we're just going to look for our next game there. Definitely a scary matchup, but we end up with the win. Gonna find Riza from Sweden with a rating of 1753 for our next opponent. Whoa, that's a cool team. Arcanine, Hariyama, Naoigo, Garchomp, Tapu Fini, and the Braviary. So tons of interesting stuff to see there. That's a very cool team in general. So I have to be careful and be wary of getting Intimidates off immediately. Braviary is definitely a pretty major threat as well, especially if it has access to Superpower. Snorlax is really good here if it can avoid the Hariyamas. And a potential... I think I want to bring Lax here, but I need to knock out the Braviary. I kind of like Ninetales here as a lead. What anti-Ninetales tech does my opponent have? You probably lead a combination of Arcanine, Hariyama, Fini, and Naoigo. So I could go Ninetales. Dang, this is a really tough one, because I feel like you can make a case for like pretty much all my Pokemon. Ninetales. It's the Arcanine on my opponent's end that I'm most scared of. Maybe I'll go Ninetales Snorlax, because I feel like Hariyama probably won't be led here. Maybe it will. I don't know. Pheromosa. I don't want Arcanine for Intimidate, but I think Fini for the Hariyama specifically is probably a little bit better. Yeah, so I'm going to keep Arcanine and Persian on the bench here, but this is one of those games where it's like I think you can make a case for all 6 Pokemon, and I'm not entirely comfortable with my lead matchup, but I think an important skill in Pokemon is like even if you don't feel like sometimes bringing Pokemon that you don't feel incredibly comfortable with and trying to win games just with any group of 4 Pokemon that you can bring. But we see Braviary and Tapu Fini. Okay. Do kind of wish I led Pheromosa here because I just could have went for my Z move, but I'd say Snorlax is in a decent position, and Ninetales at least threatens with both Aurora Veil and Blizzard. I think I probably will just want to launch a Blizzard off here, and the question is, what does Braviary do, right? I'll probably stockpile with Snorlax turn 1. Fini could have Taunt, which is a concern, but meh. And I do want to prioritize knocking out Braviary because it is a bigger threat to my Pheromosa and my Fini in the back. So I think I will just go for a Blizzard immediately and go for a stockpile. But we could see a Taunt from Tapu Fini. Braviary could go for a Z move onto Snorlax. If it's a Fightium Z move, that could be really scary. But otherwise, if I do get this first stockpile up, I feel pretty good about my Lax in general. So we'll see how this turn plays out, because a Flying Z move won't knock me out. It'll proc my Berry. Fini will do some damage, but then I'll be able to get up to +1. If Braviary Tailwinds, then that means that Snorlax gets its free stockpile up. So I guess the worst case is if Braviary... Oh, Braviary switches out. Maybe into Hariyama? Yeah. So that's okay with me. It is a little bit scarier, but I do get free damage off here with Blizzard, and it's probably Assault Vest Hariyama. Yeah. Fini Calm Minds. That's okay, because I've got the Poison Z Pheromosa in the back, but this is a little bit scary now with Hariyama on the field. Because this next turn I can go for the Aurora Veil. Hariyama will probably want to close combat me. And I'm almost confident that's Assault Vest Hariyama based off the damage that came out from Blizzard. Yeah, it took so little. So, good turn 1 play by my opponent. And it's Lefty's Fini, which is also good to confirm. So 2 Poison Jab should be able to knock it out, or the Poison Z move. So here, close combat onto Lax is like the relatively obvious play. I actually don't think I want to switch out. I might just go for the Aurora Veil and the Recycle. Yeah. Basically decreasing Hariyama's defense and special defense from the close combat. And I'm probably going to switch out Ninetales to Fini next turn. If it survives this turn, as we do see the Moonblast targeting Lax. Yep. Ooh, that's not good. I didn't think it'd have knockoff, but I should have considered that. That's really bad for me, actually. Oh, should have considered that. My bad. Okay, that just made this game a lot harder for me. Because I thought if he didn't have knockoff, I think Snorlax could carry this game by itself, but knockoff is a great tech specifically for Snorlaxes out there. But that's okay. I'm going to protect here and just go for a Facade onto Hariyama. Because either Snorlax gets knocked out here or I get a free switch into Pheromosa. Feeny actually switches out, which was not what I expected, into Arcanine, but that switch makes a lot of sense. However, this does mean that me having Feeny in the back is actually pretty essential here, because I think my Feeny plus Pheromosa maybe can win this game just by themselves. But that was a great switch in by my opponent for sure. So we'll probably see a close combat. Ooh, it's actually a poison jab, okay. So, I mean, Lax is just getting some free damage off here, and that's a crit. Nice. I'll definitely take that. Yeah, if I had my berry, like if Hariyama didn't have knockoff, I feel really good about my chances of just winning this one. But that's a really great tech by my opponent. It's probably one of the best ways to deal with Snorlax after something like Sacred. It actually just might be the best way. So we saw a Poison Jab come out, but I think Feeny can still switch in. Yeah. And I'm actually not going to prioritize knocking out Hariyama right now because it's not as big of a threat to me. So I'm just going to Facade into the Arcanine. And I need to switch Ninetales because it is essential for the Braviary, and I can also Freeze Dry Tapu Fini, so Hail's going to be expiring relatively soon, so I do want to conserve that. So I do have a +1 Lax as well as Aurora Veil up, so close combat shouldn't even knock me out, as Fini will come in. Oh, but you can always Helping Hand close combat. That probably knocks me out. I don't know. Maybe I'll survive? I don't think so. Yeah, it doesn't. That's fine. Good play though, but I do confirm Arcanine does have Helping Hand, so a little bit more utility based. Okay. So I've navigated myself into a position where I do have... Who do I want to switch in here? Pheromosa, definitely, yeah. And I know that... Is this the last turn of Hail, or are there 2 more turns? This is the last turn. Okay, good. I really just want to Muddy Water Protect here, because Hariyama definitely... It could stay in, I guess, and knock off my Feeny. If I were my opponent, I'd probably actually... Oh, but then I could Poison Jab to knock out Hariyama, so the thing is, like, does my opponent allow for that risk? I'm just gonna Muddy Water and Protect here. Let's see. Yeah, actually, I think Hariyama would stay in here. Can Muddy Water knock out Hariyama at -1 if it's Assault Vested? It'll be close. Or if you're my opponent, you just sack Hariyama here and protect Arcanine. Let's see. Yeah, okay. I could have Poison Jabbed the Hariyama there to get a Beast Boost. Ideally, actually, I would hope this... No, I do want the knockout, I think. To beta switch it into Feeny. Okay. But I am a little bit angry at myself because I could have taken a risk. I mean, it would have been a pretty big risk, I guess. But, because Pheromosa is still the most important Pokemon. So I don't mind my play there, but it is a little bit frustrating. But that's what happens when you play with Pheromosa. It is terrifying. Okay, so there's Tapu Fini. So now is the question, does my opponent anticipate the Z move? Because I could just Poison Z Muddy Water. I think I'm going to go for it. Because even if it protects it, this Acid Downpour will still do a ton of damage through the Protect. And if my opponent doesn't protect, then I just get the knockout outright. Ah, but it does protect. Okay. That's a shame. Could have Speed Swap there as well. But I do have Freeze Dry. I'm wondering if this plus a Freeze Dry can knock it out. Probably not. Maybe I should have doubled up into Arcanine. Yeah, my play the last 2 turns, like, I kind of walked into relatively obvious plays. I was hoping I could catch my opponent off guard with an Acid Downpour, because it's not exactly the most common move on Pheromosa, but maybe my opponent seen the team, or just expected it. Flare Blitz, or it's Flamethrower. That's actually really good for my opponent, because if it was Flare Blitz, would have taken all that recoil. I survived because of Aurora Veil? No frigging way. That's hilarious. Wow. And accuracy drop. I certainly was not expecting that to happen. But okay, we take those. So now the question is, does it have E-Speed? You would think it does, right? But if it does have E-Speed, you kind of have to go for it here. So I think I'm just going to Muddy Water. and Poison Jab. And if it doesn't have Extreme Speed, then my opponent's in a very bad position. We've seen Helping Hand and Flamethrower. I would guess maybe Snarl, Will-O-Wisp, but Will-O-Wisp wouldn't make much sense on a Misty Terrain team. Or a team with Tapu Fini. Oh, but it switches out! So regardless of what happens here, this is a really good turn for me. Does this knock out Tapu Fini? I don't think it will. Nice, it does. Oh, it was a crit. I don't know if that mattered. I feel like maybe it did. But I feel like my Muddy Water maybe could have just finished it off anyway. I don't understand the Arcanine switch there, because, like, what does resetting Intimidate really help you accomplish? Oh, maybe the accuracy drop. That would make sense. Wow, Muddy Water did 50% of Braviary's health there. I did not expect that. Okay, well, that's looking pretty good for me. So at this point, I'm worried about a Z move from Braviary. And if you have Extreme Speed, you would think you would have just gone for it. She would have gone for it there. So I think I'm just going to Protect and I Jump Kick Braviary. Because I think Braviary might have the Z move. Although, I suppose... I don't know if the Z move knocks me out. Maybe I should have just attacked. Okay, no, it protects. That's bad. Yeah, that's bad. I should have Muddy Watered. Actually, no, that's fine, because Ninetales outspeeds Braviary. Yeah. So I faint, but then I bring in Ninetales for free, and then I can just Blizzard Muddy Water. Wow, Pheromosa surviving a Flamethrower, and their Snarl. Okay, so I'm guessing that Arcanine doesn't have Extreme Speed. We've seen Will-O-Wisp, Flamethrower, Snarl, so often the last one would be something like Roar. Sorry, not Will-O-Wisp. Flamethrower, Helping Hand, Snarl, so Roar, Will-O-Wisp are some examples of potential last attacks. And it's just kind of funny, because there were a couple of days, or I forget, I was playing one game, and I got Arcanine down to like, an Arcanine down to -2 from parting shots. But Flamethrower still knocked off Pheromosa, and I looked at the damage calc afterwards, and I was like, oh, it's actually a damage roll. But now with Ninetales in safely and Braviary slower, I can just Muddy Water and Blizzard. And I don't think my opponent can stop me here. Helping Hand, but Braviary should be slower, right? Protected, so it's obviously not Scarf. Yeah. Unless it survives the Blizzard. I was gonna say, like, if it survives the Blizzard from that range, especially after Muddy Water did 50%, then I'm just done with this game. But I'm gonna proc the Arcanine's Berry, but Arcanine does not win against this Tapu Fini, especially with its moveset, since it doesn't have Wild Charge or any physical moveset that matter. Single target Muddy Water might just pick up the knockout. This Arcanine's obviously relatively bulky, it's probably like Calm Nature. But Muddy Water does pick up the knockout. Those were some intense games, but I'm pretty happy about those. I mean, I think both games I could have played 1 or 2 turns better. In game 1, I point to the turn where I should have facaded Coco, but I mean that play was like okay because I didn't know the item, but still, if I facaded and it doesn't protect, then Extreme Speed just wins the game and Garchomp Scarfed. And in this last game, like, there were those 2 turns where, like, it was relatively obvious that Arcanine was going to protect and Fini was going to protect. And I could have walked into both of them, so I think maybe I could have predicted that a little bit better. But Pheromosa was clutch, and Aurora actually allowed it to survive a Flamethrower. That Arcanine definitely didn't have any special attack investment, if I had to guess. Or I just got lucky with the damage roll, but that was super, super intense. Anyway, that was a really fun episode, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, leave a like if you did, and thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Alright, peace.